So I'm Steve Croft, and I'm here with Kim Nasmyth, 2018 winner of the Breakthrough Prize in Life Sciences. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm going to start with maybe one of the biggest questions in science, but what is life?
What is life? Life is about reproduction. That's what distinguishes living things from non-living things. And I guess that's going to be one of the big challenges for people who build machines that can reproduce living things, is how to crack that problem. When they've done that, we might as well pack our bags and go home.
Do you think life began on Earth?
What I think is it doesn't matter. It's what can be shown. I think that as a biologist, we subscribe to Darwinism, and that the life we see it on this planet evolved from simpler forms. But how it started, where it started, that's, in my view, not a scientific question, because it's unanswerable. Until we find it on another planet, we won't be able to begin to answer that question. So as a scientist, I just say, no answer.
Would you hazard
to have an answer is for me is a matter of religion rather than science.
Would you hazard a guess as to whether there might be life beyond Earth?
It has to be. It has to be. I think life is, there's two sides of science essentially. There's physics and there's biology. And biology is an aspect of the universe, an inevitable aspect of the universe, just as the physics is. I'm sure it's an inevitable consequence of information flow.
And if life began on Earth, what kind of environment do you think it started in?
Well, I think the latest idea is that it would be deep sea vents. That's what the latest evolutionary studies would suggest. The things that seem to be common to all the organisms that we know, the basic biochemistry, it looks most similar to the bacteria that live in deep sea vents. And that's why I think it's so exciting. You know, there is clearly water on these moons within our solar system, and there will be thermal activity under there. It's possible. I think it's really possible they may find life there eventually. My only regret is I won't be around I won't be around at the time when they do eventually find it.
It'll be soon.
It won't be soon.
What makes DNA a good molecule for life?
Well, life, the essence of life is it's cellular, and inside the cells are the enzymes that catalyze the reactions that enable those cells to reproduce. And from the very beginning, self-reproduction was about cells dividing, producing two cells and creating an exponential process. And from that very beginning, there was a problem of what I call the segregation problem. How did you ensure that the new cells inherited all the enzymes required to go ahead and do this whole thing again? And I think that there was a sort of fundamental problem there, and there was a universal solution, namely, let's create a set of instructions that encode all those that would allow us to make all those enzymes, and let's take extra special care about maintaining that chemically, so it's chemically stable, which DNA is, and let's take extra special care on how it's replicated and how it's segregated. So I think DNA was a solution to the segregation problem. On the one hand, it was more stable than RNA, which would have been one of the earlier catalysts and enzymes, and on the other hand, it can be made infinitely large, so you could have an infinite number of instructions. So I think DNA there's a fundamental logic. If life might have started with RNA, there was a fundamental logic. Let's store all this information in DNA, and then we take extra special care about how that's propagated, and then you solve the segregation problem.
Mm-hmm. How did you get interested in your field?
How did I get interested in my field? How did I get in my field? I got interested in my field because when I was at university, I I was quite interested. It was very strong in theoretical ecology, and there were quite a lot of work on stability of ecosystems, and I was very interested in dynamical systems and their stability and so forth. And then in my final year at university, I then did a project, but I didn't do it in that area. I said, well, actually another area where you have cycles is the cell division cycle. So I was interested in the dynamics. What could be the dynamical systems that maintained this essentially cyclical division of cells, and that's how I got interested in cell division.
Mm-hmm. Great.
So it was through a very unconventional route.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.